Hi, my name is Attorney Walter Wolf, III, and we're going to be going into something that basically is universal basic income. However, it's for those who are impoverished, who are receiving Social Security disability benefits in the form of Supplemental Security Income, SSI. That's the poverty-based disability program. Because remember, there's two disability programs at the federal level. There's SSI and SSDI. SSI is the poverty, disability program. SSDI is the You've Worked, Quarters of Coverage disability program. Let's get right into it. So basically, there is a gentleman, Mr. Brown, U.S. Senator from Ohio, who has essentially put into Congress the SSI, Supplemental Security Income Restoration Act. Now, what is the point of this? Well, frankly, he's fixing about 80% of the things that I don't like about SSI. And, you would think, and he put this in during Trump's era, and it did not go through. It was not promoted. It was not pushed. But I know a lot of you guys are going to be sitting back and thinking, well, of course, Trump is horrible. He's a terrible person. Oh, my goodness, how could you think anything but that? But somewhere around here, I have the actual beginnings of this. Senate Rule 2089, 113th Congress Bill. That was in March 6th of 2014. This was actually an Obama-era bill. This goes all the way back to that. But here's the bottom line, and we'll get right to the money amount. I just want to point out that Republicans and Democrats, they, in my opinion, play us for us to buy into their shows, And unfortunately, I think the Republicans and Democrats are like religions now. You get the Republican Trump Pope and the Democratic, Biden Pope. But the bottom line is this, you either accept what they want you to accept as part of the party lines, or you are not okay. Here's what it equates to. $794 per month is what the average SSI maximum federal rate is for 2021. $794. They're going to be boosting it around $238, $239. It's going to be a 30 to 31% increase. So if we use the 30% increase, $238.20, that'll basically get you a total of $1,032.20. So that takes impoverished people who are disabled, right? They meet the 5-step sequential process, or they go to element 3 and get a listing level allowance, or they get a compassion allowance listing. It's an individual who meets the SSI severity requirements. And as a result of that, they are impoverished. They don't have a lot of assets. They haven't worked much. They haven't paid into the system much. They will get, if this passes, around $1,032.20. Sounds similar to UBI? It should, because UBI, the whole purpose was to give people $1,000 per month. Now, UBI is for everybody. It gives everybody across the spectrum $1,000. Now, of course, by the time UBI would ever get taken up by the Democrats and the Republicans, it would end up being basically a program for the most impoverished. But then you'd have a lot of people who are working jobs saying, well, the impoverished are now making more than me. So the bottom line is this. Right now, this is the first step towards a UBI-oriented change. It's $1,032.20. That means that instead of getting around $9,528 a year on that $794, which, remember, it increases every year, or decreases going back in time per year because COLA increases. What this means is that you'll be getting an additional $2,858.40, totaling for the year $12,386.40. This is a really big and good thing. This is a step in the right direction. This is, in my opinion, what needs to happen. But it is not the most important part of this bill, and it is not the best part of this bill. We're going to be doing that in another video. I'm breaking them down into smaller videos because I'm getting complaints from people that, A, I talk too fast. So I'm trying to slow down my speech, even though my brain doesn't work at that speed. My brain actually doesn't even work at this speed. This is my slower, and I'm trying to make it, I try to make it more relaxing, but I know I'm not a relaxing person. That's never going to fly. So here's the bottom line. I'm going to go through bullet point by bullet point by bullet point by bullet point so that you fully understand, conceptualize, essentially what's going on with this increase. Now, why is this increase important? That is because you can't really rent a place on $794 a month, because most places for rent are like $500 plus a month. In fact, if you're trying to get just the like a beat up trailer, you're looking at in Florida, in the worst parts of Florida. I'm not making fun of Bithlo. or Pine Hills. All I'm saying is in the worst parts of Florida, I'm not making fun of those two. Here's the thing, and I actually really like Bithlo because I love like woodsy stuff. I love it. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Pine Hills, but I don't spend a lot of time there. I've spent a lot of time in Bithlo, but I haven't spent a lot of time in Pine Hills. Here's the bottom line. Those are the two high crime areas for Florida in Central Florida area. A lot of the people there who are receiving benefits can't even afford a rotting, destroyed, mildew infested, bug infested, the AC unit kind of works, beat to hell fiberglass trailer from the 60s. Like the first trailers that they came out that were fiberglass from the 60s, those are the trailers that are there. And they have some nicer aluminum ones. They have some aluminum ones that have to be restored. Just a side note, guys, if you're in a situation where you need to rent a trailer, trailers are awesome. I ended up getting a house, but when I was making my choices about what I was going to do, I was totally comfortable with going ahead and living in a trailer. I was going to do that because my student loans are so bad. I was like, you know what? I'll just live in a trailer for the next 20 years, and that'll be okay. And I was cool with that. And I still am cool with that. Like, if something really bad happened, I would still live in a trailer. But live in an aluminum trailer. And do not shine the outside of the trailer. Paint it white. Paint the trailer white. You can hand paint it. You can roll and tip. You can go ahead and spray paint it. Whatever. Paint it white. And here's why. A lot of people don't realize, but when you live in a trailer, and that trailer has a shiny surface, kind of like all those aluminum trailers that are, the classic, silver bullet, stuff like that, that mirror surface is usually hotter than a black shiny surface. I know. I don't know why that is. But if you ever get into your car and you touch like the seatbelt that goes into the thing and it tries to burn your hand off, that's one of the reasons why. I don't know why that is. Maybe somebody in the scientific field can explain reflectivity versus surface versus chrome versus whatever. But that's what I've always found. Paint it white. When I have boat stuff that I like to work on and it has like, shiny metal, first thing I'm thinking about is what am I keeping shiny and what am I painting white? Because otherwise I'm going to burn my hand. Now, let's get around that whole thing. You can't afford most of these trailers because even the cheapo ones for the single person are $650 to $700 for the most part now. You might find a deal at $500. You might get a buddy with a backyard, $400. You might get that. But then you're in a waiting game until basically the county shows up and says, hey, is somebody living in that really nice shiny trailer? Somebody living in that trailer? And then at that point, you got to move your entire life. People who are on SSI live in a constant level of anxiety. Even if they don't have anxiety on their diagnostic impression with the doctor, they are living in a constant level of anxiety and depression. Let's not forget it. Here's why. When you live on a plot of land with a trailer or a home and all the little things aren't set up with the county and all the little things aren't set up with the state, at any moment somebody could show up and say, guess what, you got to change that. Guess what, you need to remove that. Guess what, you need to build something, you need to pour concrete, whatever, you need to do A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. And what happens to the person who's on SSI only receiving $794 a month? Well, they can't do it. And a lot of people, just so you know the background for this thing, SSI claimants, a lot of them do not have grandma and grandpa to bail their butts out. A lot of them also don't have mom and dad to bail their butts out. A lot of them also don't have family that want to deal with them anymore because they had to borrow money and borrow money and borrow money during the period of losing their job and getting a diagnostic impression from their doctor. Usually a year, maybe 2 years. Now they're getting closer to severe, but then they finally reach severe. They apply for disability benefits, and then over here they're severe and they're suffering, and they've borrowed as much as they can from everybody that they know. Nobody wants to deal with them now because they borrowed so much, and boom, they get found disabled. Now a lot of the judges right now for disability benefits are killing off all of the back pain, making their approval date the month before the month in which they're found disabled. This is a right step in the right direction. This is a Democrat-based push. It needs to be a Republican-based push. If I see Republicans not getting on board with this, I will go after them with this channel by promoting information that shows why they're wrong. And here's why. Okay, so imagine this. Imagine a world. Imagine a world. In a world. In a world. In a world. Okay? Imagine my chair. I break chairs so easily. That's because I'm in chairs all the time and I move a lot because of that, doesn't matter. So the point is this. When you are essentially faced with a situation where you can't afford to upgrade something on the property, modify it, change it, whatever, then you're stuck with, do I move? Do I hide? What do I do? Constant anxiety, constant depression. Now, with this $1,032 a month, that's still not enough. That's still just not enough. But it gives them the slightest bit on top of what they need in conjunction with food stamps. Now, here's the problem. Food stamps, when you get an SSI, are reduced usually. I'm going to say it again. Food stamps, when you get an SSI, in most states are reduced. So we need this, and another thing this bill needs is to include that they receive the full amount of food stamps through whatever program you want to call it, SNAP. But the bottom line is they deserve the full amount of food stamps. You know why? It's because, let's say your rent is $800. Okay, so we got $1,032 to play with. Before we only had $794. But let's say your rent is $800 because that's where it's going. After all this shenanigans of COVID, that's where it's going. That leaves you essentially $232.20. Now, with that $232.20, you're going to need to do certain things. You're going to need to, buy things that aren't available through food stamps. You're going to need transportation. You're going to need some sort of insurance for your transportation. You're still going to need stuff. So you got to have food stamps to pay for some of the monthly costs related to food. And for those of you guys sitting back going, why would you give them food stamps and this? Well, that's because food stamps don't pay for that much food. And here's why. Most things that you buy at the store nowadays are labeled. And they're labeled at a higher cost, meaning that if you want to buy that thing, you have to buy that brand, and that brand costs a heck of a lot of money, and it's coming now to you in a smaller container than ever before seen. Here's another thing. For places like Walmart, they give a off-brand version, the Walmart brand version. Same deal. Container was, this big a couple of years ago? Now we're down to this big. Price has gone up. Not as much in it, not as concentrated. It's the same thing over and over. The inherent problem is that we are not, as an American civilization, working towards the idea of having people who can't work having a decent life. What is a decent life? Being able to afford the bills and save for one vacation a year. And I'm not talking a mega yacht vacation. I'm talking like a prepackaged whatever. I don't care if it's through the federal government where it's a vacation to go see some of the national parks, even though right now they're charging extra. That's right. If you go to a national park, you pay the entrance fee unless you're disabled, which is good. But then you have to make a reservation fee to go to specific spots in that wonderful national park. There's six of them that are right now doing it. Yeah, I know that. I know that because I was super pissed when I saw it. And I had to go ahead and pay extra money to go to the top of Cadillac Mountain. Why do I know this? Because I have a video of the park ranger / cop there waiting for people who got pissed off about it and wanted to do something about it. My point here, guys, is this. 794 through this particular act, if passed by the House, if passed by the Senate, if passed by the President, signed, then you'll get $1,032.20. That's a 30 to 31% increase, which is excellent. Right now, it's below 75% of the poverty level. SSI will then be boosted to 100% of the poverty level. My name is Attorney Walter Rudolph, not the third. Sorry about that. My name is Attorney Walter Rudolph, not the third. Have a wonderful day. I'll catch you a little bit later. And remember, I go live from 8 to 10 every Thursday. And also remember, this 4th of July, so tomorrow, this is when I'm shooting this right now, this 4th of July, spaceconstitution.com will go live, which is the first universal constitution for the entire human race that allows anybody to write in what they feel should be a freedom, a right, or a law that the human race should have. And then myself, along with a bunch of attorneys, will create constitutions. And we will use these constitutions for the future space stations, space colonies, and current countries. Have an absolutely wonderful day. I'll catch you later. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.